Welcome to this edition of Newsnight with Andrew Mwenda, the old man of the clan and also CEO of the Independent magazine. Tonight, we'll try and look at two issues very quickly. But first, let's start with the ban of the plastic bags, or kavera, as commonly known here in Uganda. Andrew Mwenda, last week, while you were away and I was away, NEMA did effect, the kavera ban. Initially, I thought it was actually a blanket ban on all plastic bags, but I'm actually told they're now affecting the 30 microns and below, especially the carrier bags. Your initial reactions to that?
Well, so my initial reaction is a reaction to what I thought initially, that they are banning all buveras.
Yes.
Because then the question would be, if you're packing bread, if you're a bakery, you know the way they wrap the bread, would you now be forced to use paper?
Yes.
Us at Independent, I'm an interested party in this. Our magazine is sealed in a polythene bag in order to stop people from opening and reading it instead of buying it.
So you're part of the people that damage our environment.
Yes. And then also remember that when you're going to take decisions like this, you must consider the industry itself. This industry employs more than 500 people. It's an industry that pays a lot of taxes. Is the problem really the use of polythene bags? Because across the whole of Europe, people use polythene bags, across the whole of America, and they have very good environmental standards. In Dubai, you use hold your breath, Maurice. The issue therefore would be enforcement. Why doesn't Uganda have a policy of saying, look, anybody who has kavera, this is a place where you should drop it, there must be proper garbage collection. I was asking myself so many questions.
So is the
How was the city going to collect
or is the problem disposal
it's not
or the availability of these polythene bags?
Because we have recycling plants in Uganda.
Yes.
You see, let everybody use kavera. The government needs and KCCA to have, and other municipal councils in Uganda, to have rigorous enforcement mechanisms so that if you, Maurice, are drinking mineral water and you drop a bottle out of the window, you will be stopped and arrested. This is, you can't do that in Rwanda. If you go throwing buveras around, there must be either somebody to pick them, or those who are seen doing it must be stopped and arrested. This can be done by citizens and by law enforcement officials. Do you see? So I think that the NEMA is missing the most important thing, and that is enforcement of environmental standards, rather than trying to ban the use of buvera.
You and I have been to Rwanda, and I know that even if you walk all the streets of Rwanda, you may never get to see a kavera on the street.
You cannot also see garbage on the street.
Awesome.
So it's not just kavera,
yes,
even ordinary garbage.
But I also know that there must be still some plastic bags in Rwanda, because I think the bread is still packed in plastic bags.
Yes.
And I think I've seen
the
one or two.
Independent in Rwanda is still packed in
a plastic bag. So how have they managed that?
Enforcement. One day, I should tell you a story. I was with my driver, and we are driving, and a couple, a young man and a lady from an affluent family, driving a brand new Land Cruiser, threw a bottle on the road. He violently, without even consulting me, turned the car and chased them and stopped them and got out and yelled at them. This is just an ordinary driver. He said, go back and pick that bottle. I can tell you, I saw them, this very affluent couple, drive back. They were in the mid-30s, drive back and pick it and put it in their car and go away. This is just a driver with a sense of responsibility and power. He knew,
yes,
and they knew. He knew they did the wrong thing and he has power to stop them. They knew that if they try to do anything, he can report anywhere and the information will percolate upwards and will be in Accra Soup the next day. So I think that is what we need to create in Uganda, that you cannot violate the law and just get away with it. Enforcement.
Yes, but the problem is that you have, of course, environmentalists crying foul and saying there is no political will in fighting this polythene bag. And that the fact that every time
so if there is no political will, what
this
is
ban is effected, that government turns around and says, wait a minute, let's give time to the manufacturers of buvera to actually set up either different machinery so that they can turn now to paper bags rather than polythene bags. For me,
so if there is no political will, that would be a contradiction, because what is NEMA doing? Let me tell you the issue with the polythene bags. If NEMA tries to enforce its rules, it is just going to affect Nakumata and Uchumi and these other big supermarkets which are willing to comply. Is NEMA going to go to every small kiosk in Uganda to stop that? Even if they shut down these factories, people will import them from China.
Yes.
Do you get it? So I don't think that the problem right now is where they are attacking it. I think the problem is at the level of enforcement. If you enforce a clean city standards in Uganda, then you'll get clean streets, you'll get all buvera placed in a very specific place where they can be taken for recycling.
All right, let's quickly move on, Andrew, because I thought it was important as the week ends for us to tackle this that has been in the press for some time. The pension scam.
Yes.
Now we get to know that you know, Obed and others in this scam tried to actually bribe their way out of prosecution.
Let me
And
tell
this
you
is coming
yes,
to light
from
in the last few days, because we know that
Let
this
me reveal
case has
for
been
you
going
something
on.
that you do not know. I,
Yes.
Andrew Mwenda,
Yes.
as a responsible citizen of this country, I worked closely with the police and with Grace Akulo, with
Yes.
Kale Kaihura on this pension matter. Because I had a lot of evidence and I decided to help the police in this matter. And this matter is not yet finished. But I was extremely disheartened, dispirited, and disappointed that the Director of Criminal Investigations and Intelligence Department of the police received Obey and Loka in her office. And they told her that A, they had paid 100 million shillings to the police, the investigating police officers.
Yes.
2, they had used a journalist who owned the website that wrote many accusations against the NTV and me when we started this show, gave this journalist $350,000 to deliver to her. You get it? If people come and report a crime to you, first of all, they're reporting that they are involved in obstruction of justice or this investigation. 2, they are reporting that we have been bribing government officials. You get me? Trying to bribe government officials. Those are 2 crimes. And the head of CIID has been seated on this information without immediately ordering the arrest, without making it known to the IGP. I've asked the IGP, has told me he does not know, without informing the DPP, and she has been seated on this information. Grace, I just cannot understand how this can be explained.
We may need to hear her out, because first of all, we don't have the circumstantial evidence to believe that they just appeared at her office. Maybe it could have
She's
been,
the one who said
yes, maybe it could have been unannounced, you know, the appearance to her office, because you would expect that if she knew they were coming, there would be recording devices, there would be a camera or something.
Since we have less time, let me help you out.
Yes, quickly.
There are 2 Kenyans who are going to do a business in Rwanda. They arrive at the border. One of them had a Kenyan passport, another one an East African passport. At that time, Rwanda was not yet a member of the East African community, and the immigration official said, look, here we don't accept this passport. He said, no, please. The young immigration officer said, I cannot allow you to enter because we don't accept this form of passport. Then the Kenyan told the Rwandan, what can I do for you? He said, can I give you something? He said, how much do you want to give me? He said, $100 or something like $50. The guy said, oh, okay, just wait for me there. He walked out, called the police. He said, this guy is trying to bribe me. The guy was arrested. They were going to meet a powerful person in Rwanda. They called him and said, look, we have been arrested. Can you help us? He said, what is the issue? My colleague tried to bribe, he's now under arrest. He tried to bribe an immigration official. The guy said, you can come alone. I can't interfere. You get what I'm saying? This is an honorary immigration official at a border post at Katuna. You are head of criminal investigations in your own office. There are 1 million policemen milling around you, and people come and report that they sent money to bribe you. It means they're involved in the bribery. They are confessing to crime, obstructing the investigation by the police, obstructing police work, and you sit on this, you do nothing to them, you sit on this information for 1.5 years, and now you also give it at the press conference. I think that Grace Akulo has a lot of explaining on this matter to do.
Let's really, just in 30 seconds, Andrew, I want to understand the pension scam. I mean, as prosecution continues and you know, our State Department continues investigating the matters around the pension scam, what really was hard for us to pin these gentlemen based on the factual,
but
the
were
facts
released
coming
on
out
the
now?
technicality, not on the substances of the
on
case.
the facts coming out
Yes,
now.
let me tell you the facts of their complicity. Especially, first of all, I should tell you the criminals in this matter, Cairo Bank. Cairo Bank was directly involved, but there is a judge whom I know very well called Kabito, who issued a court injunction to stop the DPP from proceeding with this prosecution.
From the initial report, because
yes,
we have learned that the CIID chief wrote an initial report that actually exonerated these people.
There were 2 reports.
Yes,
and Grace
the initial
about
report.
It. But
yes.
let me tell you what happened. There is an actual police report which shows the involvement. But there was a court case of Cairo Bank where a judge in Uganda, contrary to any legal precedent, contrary to the constitution of Uganda, issued an injunction to stop the DPP from prosecuting somebody. I don't think any court in Uganda, I'm not a lawyer, I don't think any judge in Uganda has that power. If the DPP does an injury to you, you can appeal and say they are the following injuries I have suffered.
Yes.
And then the court can redress them, but the court cannot stop. And it's written in the constitution that in the exercise of his duties, the DPP shall be under the control and direction of no person or authority. You see, so that is one. The second thing is these people were therefore the DPP could not proceed with the prosecution of the pensions case because the party to the case called Cairo Bank had been exonerated by this judge. Do you understand? The third element to this matter is that the former Attorney General, Peter Nyombi, had refused to appeal. You see, when the judge issued that injunction to the DPP went to the Attorney General and said, please look, Peter Nyombi, can you appeal? He said, for us, we will not appeal. Thank the heavens, the president has changed the Attorney General. Fred Ruhindi has now said
yes,
the state is going to appeal this matter. So let me tell you, for those who are dispirited, these people stole not just 165 billion. I can tell you, I went to Ministry of Finance, we went through the figures, the money they stole is in excess of 600 billion.
All right.
I don't think that you should steal 600 billion of taxpayers' money and get away with it. And they will not. Repeat, they will not get away with it.
Well, it's a matter that clearly many will be following in the next coming days. Well, that wraps up Newsnight for this week.